does that, meows at me, and then knocks everything over on my altar. And I'm like, would you stop jumping off the side of the bed that way? Thanks.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Alright, we're gonna get that stupid thing. Got it. Yes, we're live. Yay! Mine keeps knocking all kinds of stuff. Like, he just thinks that that's his step stool. And I'm like,
She just thinks she's smaller than she is. So she thinks she can just climb over things and not knock them, and then it all just falls.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Tink's not exactly a small cat. He's like a 25-pound with no sense of couth at all. It just knocks everything over. He's, you know how you've seen those cat videos where you got the different types of cats, the ones that walk all whatever. He's the one that goes when he runs by stuff. Now watch, YouTube will use that
for
for my picture. Of course I will. All right, so we're talking about celestial energies. These are going to be the energies of the planets, the sun and the moon. Now, most of this is common knowledge for many people, and I was telling Shannon earlier, I said I really like how he put all the common knowledge stuff in the back of the book instead of the beginning of the book, because I think that if it was in the beginning of the book, would have been like, no, because we just kind of know this stuff already. Out of this chapter, what I got most out of this chapter was the symbols, because I've seen symbols all over in all different kinds of other books, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that symbol is. I don't know what that symbol is. So it was nice to understand the symbols. So as we go through this, I'm just going to kind of put this up so people can see the symbols. Of course, I have the book, but if they don't, they can see it. Okay, so let's just jump into it. I think the first half of the chapter was pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with the sun on page 171 in my book. I don't know what it is in your book.
172.
Okay, so it's just an extra page. All right, there we go.
172, yeah.
So the sun is the power of the spirit and symbolic of the higher self, represented within the solar system. Its power is linked to the sense of identity and self, and it governs well-being in every area of the self, including health, wealth, happiness, and prosperity. This is the symbol for the sun. Hopefully you guys can see it. A little circle with a dot in it. That's the sun symbol. So it says some of the correspondences that sun goes with. If you want to tap into this, he mentions that the day to use the sun energy would be Sunday, which is kind of funny. Sunday. Yeah. That's not a coincidence. So it says, tap into solar energy for magical endeavors related to advancement, ambition, confidence, creativity, dominance, egoism. I wonder why you would want to do egoism. Or maybe you're suppressing ego. I don't know. Expression, fame, fatherhood, friendship, greed, growth, happiness, healing, health, illumination, individuality, joy, leadership, life, manifestation, masculinity, motivation, personality, personal power, power itself, pride, prosperity, reown, self-esteem, sense of self, strength, success, and vitality and wealth. Now, I think it's interesting to note that the sun is masculine energy, not feminine energy, because the moon is feminine energy. So the sun would be masculine, which I think is interesting. I wonder why they made the sun masculine and the moon feminine. What do you guys think?
The sun is hot. Hot relates to the masculine. Cool, cold relates to the feminine.
Well, how did you figure that one out? How did they determine that?
over here on page.
Well, I know he talks about it, but I wonder how it came to
He
be
talks
that way.
about it. It's just the way they.
Gender aspects on page 171.
If it's stimulating or aggressive, it's considered hot or masculine.
Okay.
And if it's relaxing or passive or magnetic, it's considered cold or feminine.
Go ahead, Kathy.
From the properties of the item.
Maybe a silly question, because I've always seen the sun being masculine too, but it talks here about how it is the manifestation of the star goddess. So why would it be a star goddess if everything else says it's a masculine?
Wouldn't it be a star god? But that's a good question. And it looks like he's getting some of this information from Cunningham on the genders.
What page was the other spot that you just read?
Me?
Shannon?
171.
171.
Paragraph starts with, for example. The whole paragraph talks about it, but the...
I just couldn't remember where it was.
For example, stimulating, aggressive, electric, or positive is considered hot.
Yeah, that would all be masculine. I just thought it was weird that it says that it's a star goddess.
And then it says, right in parentheses, it says formerly masculine.
That's because usually, nowadays, the terms hot and cold are used instead of masculine or feminine.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So he just okay, that makes sense. And he says such things are used to determine the gender of a plant's association. And then he talks about Cunningham's in his herbal book, uses gender. And then in the next, he uses hot and cold to discuss why he's avoiding gender terms and so on. I also like the fact that he mentions in this beginning of the chapter here some of the materia maca information in the beginning of the chapter. I thought that was really cool because I had already done research on it with my studies in the Herbal Academy. I was like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. So it took me a minute. I was like, wait, that's interesting. So in general, I think he's well educated. He's got quite a vast understanding of quite a few different things to be able to put them in his book and associate them the way he does. And the materia maca is pretty old. So, and some of those concepts are I wouldn't have related them directly into the psychic witchcraft the way that he's done it, but it's neat how he pulls his information from various standpoints. So that's cool. Okay, so the moon is our soul. It is traditionally female. Sorry if you hear a whole bunch of noise in the background. My daughter is watching YouTube. It represents, it's symbolic of the lower self represented within our solar system. Its powers linked to the realm of the hidden, such as the psychic ability, magical prowess, emotions, instinct, glamoury, and illusion. The moon is one of the celestial bodies that is most intricately connected to witchcraft. Well, that's because it's Hecate. Aside from the earth itself, witches work with different phases of the moon as to assist in different magical endeavors. The waxing, we all know what the waxing moon. The waxing, if it's getting bigger, you're bringing things towards you. If you're getting smaller, you're taking things away. Full moon is super energy. Dark moon is banishing energy. Here's the symbol for the moon. That's pretty straightforward. So, correspondence to the moon. Astral travel. Of course, that would make sense because it's nighttime. And it's also really quiet and easy to focus if you don't have a lot of things going on. Birth, compassion, divination, dreams, emotions, empathy, femininity, glamour, gratitude, family, home, illusions, imagination, increasing and decreasing, and then intuition, magical prowess, motherhood, patience, psychic ability, shape shifting. There's a good one. Spirituality, subtlety.
Subtlety.
Okay. Subtlety. Okay. And transformation. And of course, this is a Monday. If you want to connect with the moon, nighttime on Mondays or Monday nights is probably your best bet. Then we're going to get into the planets. The first one is Mercury. So Mercury, which we all love to hate, is linked to the realm of thought, speed, and movement, communication, processing, business, and trade. He says that the English word mercenary or merchant are derived from the Latin merch. Although I'm not very good at Latin, guys, so I'd probably slaughter a Latin word, which is the same root as the Latin word for Mercury, which is Mercurius. Mercurial. Is anything that relates to the planet Mercury, but also relates to the idea of swiftly changing one's stance, perception, or mind. Mercury Day is Wednesday. The GIF or the symbol for Mercury is going to be this little, looks like a stick figure with some horns. And you can work with Mercury on Wednesdays for business, communication, deception, flexibility, healing, insight, intellect, knowledge, logic, magic, memory, mental processes, music, perception, poetry, protection, processing, science, speaking, studying, technology, theft, thinking, trade, travel, trickery, and writing. Trickery, huh? Interesting. And then we move into Venus. Still not clear. Sorry. Venus is the power of beauty, receptivity, attraction, and fertility. Venus is associated with love and beauty. I think also Aphrodite, if you want to get into the Greek lore. Okay. Okay. So she talks about the different derivatives of the word, the derivative words such as Venefica. I should probably skip these extra words because I'm just looking dumb. Get these words out of my mouth. So it pertains to the concept of love and pleasure, such as venereal diseases, which are sexually transmitted diseases. I love how he sticks that one in there. When we adore, worship, and love someone, we venerate them. There's also the link between wines and vines and Venus, deriving from the Proto-Indian European word "win." Of course, I can't screw that one up. Tying together the ideas of pleasure, intoxication, and the earth. And then the Venus symbol is, it doesn't have horns. But it's a circle with a long line. It goes down in one of the, towards the bottom. So, the day of the week for Venus is Friday. And you can use energy, magical workings for agreements, attraction, affection, art, beauty, cooperation, culture, emotions, fertility, friendliness, friendship, grace, glamour, inspiration, jealousy, love, luring, luxury, passion, peace, pleasure, relationships, romance, self-confidence, sexuality, sex, sensuality, sociability, and valuables. Hi, Miss Terry.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm sorry I'm late. lost track of time.
No, it's okay. You're no worries.
Papa,
No
I'm
worries.
hungry.
Okay, well, you have your food in the fridge.
Oh shit, I forgot about that thing.
Okay. We're just getting into the planets and stuff for this week. And right now we're on Mars. Mars is a power of force, raw energy, physical strength, stamina, battles, confrontations, military fighting, self-defense, and sexual potency. I assume Mars is very, very manly. And it says Mars energy can be beneficial for when you need assistance in breaking things down or breaking through them. This is the gift from Mars, right there. It's a circle with an arrow off to the right side, I believe. Yes. And Mars, to use Mars and tap into that energy would be on Tuesday of the week. And the types of energies that you would use for Mars are aggression, anger, battles, boundaries, conflicts, confrontations, courage, defense, disputes, energy, lust, motivation, passion, physical strength, protection, raw energy, releasing bondage, sex drive, sexual potency, stamina, strength, vengeance, vigor, and vitality, and war. So if you're going to go to war, do it on a Tuesday. We're going to follow up with Jupiter. Jupiter is the power of higher truth and justice. Jupiter works with leadership and wisdom, religion, faith, and expansion. The world of Jupiterian pertains to anything related to ambition. He repeated himself here.
I don't understand why I have to remove the nuggets. Like, that just seems
It refers to the idea of having a good nature and being just pleased. When we are in alignment with our higher self, we are expansive. And the areas of our lives begin filling with the blessings and wisdom, justice, and prosperity. So Jupiter's day is Thursday. The symbol for Jupiter looks like a 24 in like an artsy kind of way. It says, so workings you can do on a Thursday if you want to tap into Jupiter's energy are works for abundance, ascendancy. I think I said that right. Authority, devotion, enthusiasm, ethics, expansion, fortune, growth, higher purpose, higher consciousness, honor, humor, justice, law, the legal system, life path, luck, optimism, philosophy, morality, politics, prosperity, religion. I don't know why you put that in there. Responsibility, rules, rulership, spirituality, true will, and truth, wealth, and wisdom. She's over here cooking her nuggies.
I don't know. This seems useless. Like, why do you have to take out the nuggets and then cook everything else and then put the nuggets back in and then cook it again?
Because the nuggets don't have to be cooked as long as the rest.
Dude, it just seems stupid. Why don't you just cook it all together?
Try it and see how it comes out.
I don't want to waste a perfectly good meal.
Well, then follow directions. All right, so the next planet is Saturn. Yeah, she thinks they're dumb. It's okay. Saturn is the power of rules, restrictions, contradiction, or contractions, shielding, protection, boundaries, evolution, endings, and karmic lessons. The word Saturn, I don't know, Saturn 9. Okay, relates to anything dark and gloomy, while Jupiter expands areas of life, Saturn restricts them. While Jupiter grows, Saturn harvests. While Mars is more aggressive in its energy, Saturn is more defensive. So this is the symbol for Saturn. Kind of looks like a 5 in a way. Saturn day is Saturday. And some of the magical workings you can do for Saturn to connect to its energy are aging spells, agricultural, art. How do I say that word?
Austerity.
Austerity. What does austerity mean? Sternness or severity of manner or attitude. Okay, got it. Bindings, boundaries, death. Right. Okay. I'm not so sure I would want to do anything with death. Destruction, duty. Huh?
Wouldn't that also be for spells for like those who have passed away?
I wonder, but
That's how
But
I
if
took
Saturn- but if Saturn is like,
I mean, because it also has to do with aging and things. So that would
True.
be a natural progression.
but then taking things away doesn't necessarily say something that's already dead. Because that's already gone. It wasn't taken away. So I wonder. Interesting. Destruction.
It has the power of protection, so couldn't it be as a protection from death, taken that way?
Okay.
Take away the possibility of death.
A protection against.
Okay. Are you having fun over there?
Hola, entonces uno.
Could
It means hello, everyone.
Are you sure?
Yes, I looked it up. You want to hear it?
What language is that?
Hola a todos uno.
Okay. She tried.
It's Spanish, baby.
Okay. Let's see. Destruction, duty, equilibrium, fear,
Go in.
formation, history, initiation, intimidation, karma, life cycles, life lessons, limitations, patience, perseverance, practicality, protection, prudence, responsibility, restrictions, sacrifice, self-discipline, shadow work, teaching, time, and wisdom. I would probably go with shadow work on Saturday.
My whole life has been a lie. Why did the instructions
Okay,
not show?
and it doesn't go into like there isn't there. I know there's more planets than just that, but like we don't have Uranus or any of the other planets in here, so I don't know.
These are
these
just
are
the basic
just the
7.
ones for the days of the week.
These are just the basic. The ancients held 7 planets to be strong influence. So those are the 7 he covered.
Okay. So I'm sure that there's obviously other aspects that are not basic in here. And then he talks about attuning the planets and energies. And he says that you want to draw the gift of the planet. He says to draw the gift of the planet with your receptive hand onto your receiving hand. In his energy exercise on exercise 72, which is on page 178, I think, for you guys.
Starts on 177.
He says, begin by tuning in, activate your palm energy centers, decide which planet you want to conjure, and draw the planetary gift with the fingers of your projective hand on the palm of your receptive hand, and draw a clockwise circle around it. Begin focusing on what the specific planetary energy feels like, base it on your experience from the previous exercise. That's going to be from the attuning the planets by vibrating their power on page 177, the beginning. And you would do that through performing a soul alignment in your breathing state. He says in order to do that, you'll draw your witch fire and a clockwise circle around it and feel the energy of that element from that planet, irradiating. So you can kind of tune yourself into what each one of those is. So you'll need that for exercise 72 when you begin focusing on the energy. It says, hold your hands apart and visualize the gift appearing on your chest and your body glowing with this energy. Fill your body and aura with its power, and then visualize them streaming out into each hand, creating an orb of energy formed purely of that planetary element. You can use this energy to charge objects with a specific planet. For example, if you want to charge a crystal with the planetary power of Mercury, I would take the Mercury planetary energy in my hands and place it around the crystal, visualizing all of the elemental energy filling and activating the crystal. Now, I think this is neat because you can use crystals in all kinds of different ways. And crystals are those types of mediums that hold energy in various different ways. I, in my own practice, use crystals, round crystals, to encapsulate spirits when they don't want to leave my space. It's a form of removing them physically versus, them going on their own. Now, I don't always do that. I just only sometimes do it. Depends on what I'm working with. So you can also send this orb of energy to another person over a distance. Focus the energy on the orb inside of your hands. Think of the recipient and take a deep breath. Exhale forcefully, visualizing that you are blowing the spear of elemental energy to its destination. Oh my God. To its destination. So what are some of the different ways that have you guys actually tried to do these kinds of things? Like infuse planetary energy? I haven't worked with the planets before, except for the moon.
Not
the sun.
planets.
Yeah, I've kind of only worked with the moon and the sun. I'm a sun soaker in the mornings. Like I like to go out and draw down the sun and allow it to kind of heat my body and energize my system. And then I haven't really drawn down the moon, although I do work with Hecate a lot. I don't call on her a lot. Like I give her donations. I give her different, I don't know what you call those things. My brain decided to stop working. Offerings, yes, that. I give her offerings and those kinds of things. And I ask her to protect like my shop, and sometimes I work with her magic, but I don't do it often because I'm not one of those people that likes to practice magic like every single day. I don't think it's necessary to practice that. I think it might be necessary to meditate every day, but to practice magic is excessive because magic doesn't happen. I'm so sorry. Well, at least it didn't go on the floor. So, I think that it takes time for magic to work. And then when you set out an intention, you also have to do something to help that along. It's not like, oh, I'm wishing on stars and then one day it'll fall in my lap. That's not how that works, in my opinion. I mean, some people believe that, but I don't. So I think you have to do something. So I think if you do magic every single day, it becomes monotonous and loses its thing, So I only do it sometimes. And there's been times where I've gone months without even needing it. I'm like, no, I'm good, And so I don't think that makes you any less magical as a person, to not use magic often.
No,
and then
the
there's
only time I've done the everyday thing was when we did the burn the wish, 13 wishes, and then you burn 12. I did that.
Well, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was the whole thing. That was one spell spread out over several days.
Right.
But I mean, for those who create a new spell every single day, just because, it hasn't happened yet. Let me just reiterate this, I don't think that helps you any. I think that if you put your intention out there, you can meditate on your outcome every day if you want to do that, to visualize. But to set up your candles, pull out your crystals, stick all your, and just go through that process again is, I think, redundant. So.
Well, right. And then how do you concentrate on the first spell if you're working on a new one already?
Right, exactly. I mean, and I only use it for when I need it. you know. So if I have a plan, like today I did some candle magic. It was for myself, to kind of redirect myself, give myself some I don't know. I was asking for visions to kind of know where I'm supposed to go in my business, so that I can get more focused and achieve the goals that I want for myself. So it was more of a focusing thing, and I used a purple candle, and I sat there and meditated, and boy, did that candle burned in the most weirdest way possible. I don't think I've ever seen a candle burn like that. Like, it burned like super huge flame the whole time, but it burned super slow with a flame that was like this big. And I'm like, how the fuck did it? It literally lasted like an hour and a half, and the flame was like this big the whole time. And I was like, that's interesting. So it goes all the way down and burns it completely clean. There's no drips, no nothing. Then we finally get to the bottom of the candle, the wick falls over, and then it starts burning across the wick on this, and like any extra wax that I had like lit the candle, because I light the candles and stick them to the wax on the bottom so that I don't have to use a candle holder.
Right.
So the wick fell over, and like it continued burning, and all of the wax that was on the table, and it just sat there and burned until it was all gone. I was like, well, damn. You know, so it was really neat. So, and I sat there for about, I think I sat there about 45 minutes and meditated, and then some dude walks in, and I don't know if the universe was just being funny, but some guy walks in and asks me if I still sew. And I was like, well, yeah, I still sew. He's like, because he had came into my shop when I first opened, and I was like all sprawled out on the floor making my cloak. Because I wanted a cloak for the winter. And he's like, do you still sew? I was like, yeah, why? He goes, can I commission you to hem my pants? I was like, well, that's fucking random, but okay. So he wants me to hem his pants up into capris and then tighten them in a little bit, or, you know, alter them so that they're a little bit not as loose. He wants like skinny jeans, but he brought me these pants that weren't like stretchy. So I'm like, talk about a fucking challenge. So I thought that was interesting, and that happened about 45 minutes into my meditations, and it's like pretty much the universe saying, yeah, you're supposed to make shit, bitch. And I'm like, thanks. You know, so I'm still waiting for, you know, more to come, but that'll come with time, probably with some dreams. Hopefully they're not all weird. Been some weird ass dreams lately. It is whatever. I mean, how do you guys do your magic? How does it work for you? What have you guys been up to lately? Nothing?
Like I said, all I did was the 13-day or the 12-day, and today was the 13th day, or the 14th day. So I took that and threw my ashes in the wind. Here, which is okay. That's all I've done.
Well, you got to let us know how it turns out.
I did a little something before surgery for a good surgery.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm guessing it worked. I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Yeah, and your pain's almost gone. I think so, too. And your hands are good.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. All right, so Shannon and I talked about what we were going to do for the rest of this book. So we've got 2-ish chapters left. We've got chapter 14, which is hella long. That's like 27 pages. Okay, then we have 15, and then the conclusion. So since chapter 14 is like stupid long, we're going to take next week and go over chapter 14. And then the following week, we're going to complete the book completely. And then, I don't know, are you guys up to taking our usual between book break?
That's fine.
And then
Yeah,
we'll start.
because I don't have the book yet.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and
to order it.
you're okay. I still, when we get into this new book, we still have to like check the newer versions to my old ass version to make sure that there aren't any discrepancies, because I'm really curious about that. I really, really am, how much of it was changed throughout the years or what was omitted. So, if we run across something where I'm reading something, you're like, no, yeah, write that down. So, I'm looking forward to that. I really like the older version books. So that's what we're going to do for next week is chapter 14, which is, what is it? Multi-dimensional manifestations. Okay, so this, just the title of this has me like tripping a little bit. Have you guys, but you guys have been noticing the new Marvel stuff coming out?
Mhm.
The multiverse. I don't know about you, but I'm a firm believer in the things we watch in movies and television shows are predictions of the future, or are defining our present. We don't really get these things. We're like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. But then you read stuff like multidimensional manifestations. Does that mean what exactly? So do I think we have multiple different realms? Absolutely. Do I think that the way that they're determining this as multiverses and multidimensional, the way that it's now coming to light is really interesting. There's been a lot of stuff on TikTok and a lot of stuff on Facebook and in movies, and that's all hinting towards different realities. I'm becoming a bit more interested in quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement. I don't know about you guys, but I watched a whole ass documentary on it the other day. So, it's really interesting. The theory of quantum entanglement is that the energy sources in atoms exist in multiple places at the exact same moment, and they become and they're linked to each other. So when they become visualized, because they're only energy sources that don't become viewable until they're viewed. Okay, and there's actually been a whole bunch of science on this, and there's been arguments with a whole bunch of scientists, during Albert Einstein's years. And actually, he had a really hard time with quantum entanglement. Einstein was like, that's not fucking real. And then later on, Bell, which is kind of ironic, Alexander Graham Bell, was it him? I think it was him, proved the theory of quantum entanglement and was able to show it in his science experiments. So I thought that was really fucking cool. So, so the whole idea of understanding how something becomes something is interesting, because it doesn't become solid or viewable until it is viewable. So it can change in any way, shape, or form, which I think is really interesting, which makes like the theory of The Secret. I don't know if you knew anything, if you guys know anything about The Secret, or if you watched it. Have you watched it? If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really good. It's about the law of attraction. And if you apply quantum entanglement to the law of attraction, you will understand how manifestation through energy works exceptionally well. So Hulu has it, in case you're wondering. It is free, so you can check it out on Hulu. It is a documentary, so if you don't really like documentaries, you know, I'm sorry. But it is interesting. And when I first saw the movie The Secret, I sat there and was like, damn, how you gonna expose all of our magic stuff? I was like, no, I already know that shit. That stuff is a witch every day. You know? So you'll find it interesting if you watch it. But between this psychic book, all the stuff I've been watching on documentaries and that movie, it's really been interesting. So I'm really interested to hear what he has to say on multidimensional manifestations. So if you have some time, watch The Secret, after you read the chapter or before you read the chapter, and see what you think. Because that'll make next week's conversation way more interesting. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to get going. Miss Shannon, can you please post to the group?
Doing it right now.
Oh, thank you, Dia. I appreciate you. All right, ladies. I'll see you all next week. You have a wonderful week. And don't do anything I wouldn't.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.